Alright guys, so this is going to be part 4 in the series of tutorials. I've got some good news. I figured out the sticky door and I was just being an idiot. I apologize for that. For anybody that wants to know how to make a sticky door, okay, I'm uh, not supposed to link it to itself. You just click the link and then if you look here, there's this little break link. Click to deactivate default behavior on this prop. And can't believe I overlooked this. And now it's not going to work unless it's triggered by something else. Alright, so that's the solution to that. Okay. So what this is going to be is this is going to be the putting it all together. I haven't covered the input board and the master control board because they're simple. I wasn't going to make a separate video for them. I'm basically going to cover, as I build it, I'll be able to cover the input and the master. So I'm just going to cover this lightly. Basically, the way that it is you come in here. This is the input board. This is why it's next to the door. Okay, and you come in here and you type in the input. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a code on the master panel here. 2, 3, and 4. Again, not a code that you want to be using, but you know, for this purpose. Alright, so this is technically a 5 input, just so you know, because the last input is a lever. Okay. But it's not something you have to guess at, so it's a 4 combo. Okay. Now, the linking behind these is just, you know, straightforward. I'll go ahead and when this is turned on, okay, go ahead and look at these links. When it's turned on, it turns this off, and that sets the whole process together of checking it. If this can't be turned off, then this isn't going to be turned on, so the board knows it's a wrong answer. Okay, and then when it's turned on, it also turns off this one. Excuse me. Turns off the 2, the 3, and the 4. Okay, and then go back here. Oh, well, you can see it also over here. Green light. That green light is that tracker light. Okay, it's just selecting something that I hovered over. That's that green chain. Okay, and we've got the indigo lights here. Okay, it's mentioning one of the orbs, one of the light orbs twice because I'm currently hovering over it. So basically what it does is it just turns off these other 3. So that's so only one entry can be in at a time. Okay? And then when it's turned off, okay, it's only got one link when it's turned off to go to here and turn off that entry point, turn off that output that puts the input over here. Okay? Fairly straightforward, not a lot of triggering there. This switch is easy. You know, it pretty much just why is this linked to 2 things? I don't know why. Okay. When this is turned off, it turns off that light, okay? And then when it's turned on, it turns on that light. Like you can see when turned on, okay? So that's the only thing coming from that switch. Now, to the master control board, it's pretty much exactly like the input board. The only difference is, okay, if we look at the links here, it's got those same things. When it's turned on, it turns off all the other ones in the row, okay? And when it's turned off, it turns off the light over here, which is just our signal light for this logic board. It's just an in-between. It doesn't really need to be there. You can set all the triggers that go off of this light to be off of that light. Alright? So it's just an extra step. It's a little bit of a buffer and a little bit of a sanity sake. I just think it looks nicer, and it's just better programming etiquette. Alright? So that's just as simple. When that's turned on, it turns on. When it's turned off, it turns off. Okay? So that pretty much covers those. That's fairly straightforward. All right. Now I do have some good news. I decided to write down my mapping of triggers for the node, and I managed to get myself down to one switch. It's always going to need that switch. Now this one switch, because it's only activated when this turns off, and it's only turned off when you reset when you change the code or you turn it off. Okay. You could set this as one switch that would go ahead and be able to toggle everything on this on that row, or you could have it target everything on the board and shut off all the lights if you wanted to, and you wouldn't need to put an individual switch for every single one of the nodes. But like I said, I like these nodes here because they're standalone, and I can copy it and I can paste it, and then it's ready to go. All I have to do is link the input board to it, link the master, link the master control and the input board to the input on the node, and then I only have to link the output to the input of the gates. Okay, that's why I like it that way. You do not need to have this switch for every single one. But like I said, I think it's good because if you ever wanted to expand a combination to something more, then it'd be good. Now I'm gonna cover the node again. Now that I've managed to cut it down to one switch, and I'm gonna tell you what was the thing that I was missing. And the reason why I missed this is because when I was playing around with this, trying to figure stuff out and trying to figure out how many lights I needed and everything like that, and how I could get this to work properly and perform its function and of checking input, and then also performing the function of being able to be changed for new input and being able to set to a new combination. Okay, so I'm going to go and what I did was mappings of where I I I I drew out this layout. Okay, of the lights and everything, and then I drew little lines with arrows in which direction it was going. Okay, and what I did this time to finalize it, because I wanted to go through this fairly seamlessly instead of having to check against stuff, because we're going to be building it from start to finish here in this video, so it's going to be a long video anyways. What I did was, okay, as I wrote it down, I did the map, and then I put a number next to it, and I started writing down each link that needed to be from each light, and that allowed me to see something I wasn't able to see by just looking at it here and writing down a map to perform what I wanted to perform. Okay, so how I did it was, now, okay, when this is on, okay, it puts on the tracker light, okay, and I turn it off, and everything turns off with that one switch, and it'll do this every time. And now, if let's say this was on, it's the quickest way to turn it on. Okay, it'll turn it off every time. Now I'm going to go through those links with you, and I'm going to do it by each one and where it goes. All right, so we have, I'm going to call this light 1. All right, and this is the one that has a new link. Okay, it's got when turned on, it only turns on the tracker light. Okay, I go back. Now when turned off, all right, it turns off our light 2. This will be light 2. This the tracker light. Um, it turns off light 4, which is the output light, and it toggles switch 1. And there's only one switch now. Okay. The new link here is when this is turned off to turn this on. Okay. Um, so that changes needing that other switch, because as I was writing it out, I then thought to myself, wait a second, I know that because of the way that it works out, how I can shut it off by having those switches, it's because if when this one turns on, it turns that top one back on. So if I set this to turn that on, okay, then I don't need I don't need that other switch to delay, because this will be instantly put on the same time this is turned off, okay, and that won't trigger that to turn on again to have another buffer switch. All right, so that's the change right there, is this, okay, and then basically the other change, if you follow the other videos, okay, was now this switch, okay, does both turn offs when it's toggled. It turns off light 2, the tracker light, and it turns off light 3, light 4, the output light. And then, as you know, the output light, okay, turns off our buffer light, okay, which is light 3. All right, so I managed to eliminate one of those switches, and since it's down to one switch, like I said, it would be easier. It would be very easy to just narrow that whole board down to one switch that has a whole bunch of triggers on it of shutting things off for you. I like the standalone node, and like I said, if I ever want to expand upon it, if I want to have different puzzles, and especially if you're going to game master, you're going to want some easy level ones and some hard ones, and some of the ones you're going to want, like 5 entries by 5 entries. Some of them you're going to want 2, and some of them you're going to want 10 possibly. Of course, if you've got one with 10, I hope you're leaving clues as to what the answer is, because nobody's going to figure it out without some sort of clues. Just being a dick, in my opinion, if you're not leaving clues on how to solve a puzzle. Of just a combination sort. If it's like completing certain tasks, like if I've got to go to the aspect of wind and unlock something, and then I got to go to the aspect of earth and unlock something, and I've got to go to the aspect of if it's something like that, it's completely different, but it would still be the same principle of where you'd have to have you know uh, tracking of triggers and gates, and I don't know if you'd need this node, but you might. Alright, so that's the new feature, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to just go ahead and get rid of this. push this back in. Alright, and now because I don't have enough, it should probably be easier if I start on this side because that area. I don't have enough lights to make this board all over again. This area in there. I think that's everything. Okay, I'm a bit confused by this. Oh, that's right, because I had the input panel and moved it over here. That's what that's from. Okay. Escape out of here. Okay, that didn't work. Alright. Now, the only thing I'm going to cheat with is this. This is just one strip from the input panel because, I mean, it's fairly simple and it's just redundant to sit there and do all the, when this is on, this is off, and this is off, and this is off, and then the same with each one. When this is on, that's off, and blah, 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 blah. Okay? Copy that. And I'm not going to do all 4 rows at once because there's a little bit of a cheat here too on that you can use. Alright, so the first thing that we need, okay, is we're going to need, alright, a node. Alright, we're going to start with the node first. Sorry, I'm going to take a sip of my tea here. Okay, so we're going to set up our node. Right about there. Like I said, I'm a little OCD, so I apologize for that. I think we can go ahead and shrink this down a little bit. Okay, that's better. It's a little bit too big. Do it a little bit more. Suppose I could have just done tweak mode. that looks good. Feels a little bit nice. Did the same thing I did last time. Don't worry, I won't have to do this with each one. I can copy and paste this stuff. That one is actually right where I want it. I'll go ahead and turn off all these lights. Alright, so we've got our node with the one switch. Sorry, can't help it. Back out a little bit. Really don't like that first person view. Alright. So now we start with our triggers. We're going to start with light 1 here. Okay. When turned on, turn on. That's it. That's all we need. Okay. For turn on. Then turned off. Turned off. Turned off. Turn on. Now remember, the buffer light turns on with light 1, okay? Everything else, well, sorry, the other two lights are off. The tracker light and the output light are set to off, and the buffer light is set to on when the main indicator light is turned off. Okay, and we got to do the link to our switch, which I should have done first. I gotta. Okay, and then our switch is toggled. We turn off. We turn off. Alright. So now we've got our light, our indicator light set up. It's our light 1. Our switch is set up. Now we move on to light 2, our tracker light. Sorry, having mouse issues there. Alright. When turned off, we're going to turn on. Okay, and that is it for light 2. Okay, there's only one trigger on the tracker light, and then I'm going to link when buffer light when turned on turns our tracker light back on. Link when it turns on, it turns our output light on. Okay, link when turned off, going to turn off. All right. Now that's only one link too, node wise. Okay, internally. All right. So you have all your internal links set up on this. So we'll just go ahead and check it and make sure everything works fine. Everything's off. And this is nice that I'm in kind of like, oh, is this mid morning or going into evening? I don't remember. It's a little easier to see all the lights though when it's darker. Okay. So when it's on, it's on. When it's off, everything's off. Okay. So everything functions as far as locking this number in as the combination number. Okay. Now we're going to test the triggering of it. Now when it's triggered, it's going to be triggered by the tracking light to be turned off. And those two lights turn on. Click on it again. Nothing happens. Nothing affects the rest of the situation. Okay. Now, okay, go ahead and turn that off, and it turns that off, because this would be shut off by the turning off of the switch. So I just wanted to double check that, make sure that bottom light isn't staying on, because that would break things. Alright. I'm going to reposition you up there. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this only gets turned on by that. It only gets turned off by that one. And the main one. No, the main one turns it on. Alright. So I just want to double check before we move any further. You know, just making sure that hate this stuff sometimes. Just flipping out all over the place. Just gotta get better in tune with remembering just to hit tweak mode instead of reposition. Okay. Let me go ahead and that. Alright, so I want to put this. Okay, so there's our one node. Alright. So what we're going to do, so that's going to be the bottom node here. It's going to be number 4. So we're going to go ahead and do, okay, is we're going to go ahead and link. Alright. Now this isn't, obviously, that over there too was just a display of everything. This isn't where you'd place everything. But just makes things easier for the purposes of showing you instead of running around corners to where the door is and then running to where the logic board is and everything. So this is just display purposes. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and that's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Okay. and then we're going to paste it. Oh yeah. So, okay, this right here is going to be our input board. This right here is going to be our master control board. All right. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do this here. When turned on, we're going to turn it off. Okay. And then when turned off, oh, sorry. When turned off, okay. Now remember, we're doing this to the output. We want to shut off. We want to shut off the output. Shut off the output. Okay. And we want to shut off the input. Okay. Okay. So we have when turned on, turn off, and when turned off, turn off. But they're targeting different things. We're shutting off the output when it's off, and turning off the input when it's on. Essentially triggering it to 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 be the correct move. Okay. Now that's that. All right. So we've got that linked. All right. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to link our master control. Okay. Link when turned on. Turn on. Okay. We're turning on the indicator light, which is set to toggle the other stuff. Link when turned off. Turn off. Okay. So, just going to go ahead and test this. Okay. Just make sure the links are correct, and then okay. We shut it off. All right. Go ahead and shut that off. All right. So now, what we're going to do is we want to have an input, okay, for this to go to. All right. But we're going to do that once we've completed the whole row. All right. Sorry, we need we need this output to go to an input for the gates. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our selection tool. Go ahead and pull it out. Copy it. Paste it. Oh, that might be a little bit too close. It's too far out. That's the real issue. Just go ahead and delete that. One up. There we go. Huh. I didn't want that up all the way. It's a little bit too far up. Okay. It's interesting to find out because before, when I had the two switches, I don't know if you guys remember from the other thing, all the lights would be on. Okay, set that to off. Just for the sake of being sane. Alright, so now what we need to do is we need to... This is all standalone. All our links are already... Our internal links are already accomplished. So we don't need to do anything. Alright? We just have to control the inputs to it and the master locks to it. Okay? So go ahead and link. When turned on... Did I grab the right one? I want to make sure I grab the right one. This should be 3. Alright. Link. Alright. So, when turned on, we want to turn off our tracker light. And then, link. When turned off, we want to turn off our output. Okay. Same setup as the other one, just one up. Alright. So then we just need to do our master control, link. When turned on, turn on. Link. When turned off, turn off. Okay, so another one done. Alright, so we just and paste another one. I think that's where it needs to be. Okay, so go ahead and do the same thing. Turned on, turn off tracker light. When turned off, did I grab the right one? Okay, turned off, turn off. So remember, both of these, okay, turn off. When it's turned on, it turns off one. When it's turned off, it turns off another one. Okay. So now we go to our master control. Link. This is... Whoop. When turned on, turn on. Link. Turned off. Whoop. Turn off. Now the other thing that I noticed while doing this is that same thing that was on the door is on here too. So you could set all these lights, all right, when you copied and you could break them on your first one, and when you copied and pasted they would still be broken. All links and triggers are all, as long as they have all the things that they need to go to, it stays intact. Okay? So you can break all of those, so that way you can't accidentally fudge it up or anything like that, and the only way you'd be able to change anything would be your master control and your input board. That would be the only two that could do it, which I actually wanted to do for this, but I'm not too worried about it. Okay, now we go ahead and copy. Whoop, sorry, we already have that copied. This will be our last one. Okay. Go ahead and do the same thing. This is our top one. on, turn off, link, and when turned off, we turn off. Again, I reiterate, you know, both of the triggers from here turn off lights. I know that's stuff that I think about. I'm like, shouldn't I be turning on with one of these? But it's not the case. Turned on. Turn on the indicator light. Okay. Like when turned off, turn off the indicator light. Alright, now here's the real trick, okay? Now, all these right here, all these outputs are going to trigger the same input, okay? So what we're going to do is we go ahead and make an output. Tweak mode. Okay, and I want to shrink it down. I probably could have just copied one of these and moved it down, just one of the lights. Okay. So this is the cheat here. Okay. So we go ahead and we link, turned on, turn on, turned off, turn off, turned on. This is just the same. When it's turned on, turn it on. Whoop. And when turned off, turn it off. Sorry, I forgot my place. Am I on the on? And turned on. Yeah, I'm on the on. Turn on. Did it again. Turned off. Turn off. Okay. So this is our input. Going to be our input for our first gate. Now what we're going to do is take our selection tool. Okay. Across the board. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and copy that whole thing. Okay. Now this is the cool part with this. Okay. Is that once you have one column done, you can then paste the other columns. Okay. Just go ahead and line this up. Whoop. Okay, let's go ahead and turn all these off. Alright, so, wait a second. Alright, for some reason, it didn't work with those. I've done this before, so I don't know why it didn't copy those. Because the props don't seem to get overridden. Did I not pull this out one when I did it, and maybe that's why? Sorry, guys. It's probably what it was, is I probably didn't pull it out. Hmm. So, if you put the work into one column, and now you have your 4 columns. This is actually a little closer than I'd like, but we're just gonna deal with it because this is just I'm trying to show you, and I'm just gonna have to let my OCD slide a little bit. So, to show you this works properly. These are a little spaced out. You can then move them closer if you want. You can pull out the section and move it to where you want. I don't know if I haven't been able to. Like I said, I just really got into the building stuff, so I don't know if you can select stuff and move it with more than one item at a time. Somehow, I haven't figured it out. If you guys know, if it's a possibility, let me know. But I've seemed to find that I have to do everything one by one in order to move it to a new place. I'm assuming because they didn't really plan for things like props or whatever. So, and with the linking and triggering to want to be able to move a panel, and before you, it's just like if you had a wall, it would just be okay. I'm going to copy a wall and then paste it wherever, and it doesn't matter because it doesn't have any, things like linking that you have to worry about. All right, so I'm gonna go with the easiest code in the world, 123. Okay, so those are all on the right ones. Okay. All our outputs are on. Okay. Everything shuts off. Doesn't get triggered. Doesn't get triggered. Doesn't get triggered. Gets triggered. Okay. Everything works fine. That saves you a little bit. So what I really like about these standalone nodes is that it's very copy and paste, copy it and paste it very easily. Um, and if you set it up like this, you sit there and you make your rows for it, on the master board and on your input panel, and then you can just copy and paste it as long as they're spaced enough far apart where they won't override props on each other. Which I'm not even sure that I've seen like lights stacked on lights, so I don't even know if they would override props. Okay, but now we don't have to sit there and go and link, you know, these here all to the output, and these ones it's already linked to this for us, so we can just go ahead and pick it up. No, not pick it up. Reposition. Okay, and move right on over to our AND gates, which I'm just going to do this on the back because that's kind of close, and I don't know if I can just. Well, yeah, I'm just going to do it on the back. Okay. Okay, there's that one. And that one. Now, I'll tell you one thing, is that I thought of this after I built it. I wish I would have thought about it before, because I had to do all these things. Uh, well, the nodes I copied and pasted, but these rows, and the only thing that I copied and pasted with the rows was the if it's on, then turn the rest off, and then I did all the rows individually linking to the nodes, and all the master controls linking to the nodes, and all the outputs from here linking to the gates. Okay. That's too high. Alright, so now we're at our AND gate. Okay. You know what? Actually, and like I said, guys, this is going to be a long one. Just putting all the sectional pieces together. Okay. Alright. I thought this would have been, a door would be wide enough to go through too. Ah, deleted the floor. I hate this crap. Yeah, because I want to send my selection box all the way off the map, or I can't even do anything with it. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Sorry, I'm grumbling. Okay. Now we can go ahead and do that. And that's just silly. That door's really thick, so you would think. Whatever. It serves purpose. Alright. And go ahead and put the lever up now. I don't know why I'm doing that. Oh, I forgot to do something earlier with this. Is what we should have had. What we should have done is we should have taken this switch here, and as put it as our reset. That when um no, actually we want the door to reset those, but we could have had the door up and had it so when it opened, okay, it would then shut off our board. Um, that's just fairly simple. That's just when this opens, shut off this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this, and so forth. Um, and shutting off all these would then shut off everything on your logic board too. Um, but yeah. All right, where was I? Okay. So then we also need to make an area, which I'm going to wait till last because it makes it harder to touch stuff. Did I get both links on here? When turned on. Yep. When turned off. Yep. And then take this last orb with us. The back. And now we've got all the inputs for our AND gates. Okay. To just do those. Okay, so we go ahead and just gonna put that one there. And then we also want our red one over here, right? Yeah. It's gonna be somewhere over here. Gonna need that. Gonna need that. What? Ugh. Alright, so we got those, so now we can just copy. Duplicate. Sorry, OCD. Alright, so now we just gotta copy the switches. Damn it. Ah. You really are just gonna be that annoying, aren't you? We're just gonna put the switches everywhere. That's not what I wanted. Alright, so now our AND gates are all have all the objects they need. These are already linked, and we just need to go ahead and link these inputs into the system. Okay, so go ahead and link these up, toggled. Okay. So we have all the turn on features. Okay. Right there we have when this is turned on, it turns this one on and that one on. When this one's turned on, it turns, sorry, when this one is turned on, it toggles this one. And when this one turns on, it toggles this one and turns on the switch. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do our off. What? Oh, alright. Sorry, I might have just screwed that up. Link. When toggled. Okay. Now I need that to be when it's toggled. Sorry. When toggled. Okay. Alright. And then back when turned on. Should have checked the other one while I had it open. When turned on. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and do the offs. Link. When it's turned off. Turns off. This one here. When it's turned off. It's turned off. Okay. Now you can also do these AND triggers linked with each row if you wanted to. I could have set that and had that AND trigger, then been able to copy this and copy the sorry, not the AND trigger, the AND gate with it, and then copy this one and did the AND gate with it. And then if I wanted to do, you know, more, I could then, like if I wanted to do another set of 4, I could copy the whole thing with the expanded AND gate on that, and then, you know, have another 4 where I could do that with. So it's just things to make your life a little bit easier. Like I said, this door here, I'm gonna break that link. If I would have had that door first, I could have set that when it opens, it would shut off the input board. But I forgot about it, so it's a little bit more work later on to do that for a reset on the board. Okay, so I was on where I did the offs for this. Now I just gotta do the offs. Like when turned off, turn off, link, when turned off, turn off. Okay? So this should work like our AND gates that we saw previously. No, because I forgot to link this one. Link turned off, turn on. Alright. Alright, so I turn this on, I turn this on, our output is on. Okay? I turn this off, it goes off. I put these lights a little bit too close to the switches. It came on for a second, but it went off. Okay? Like I said before, the only thing we have to worry about is this last one. Okay, don't have to bother with the trapdoor on these ones. Just gonna go ahead and do the same thing to these ones. Gonna link when toggled first. toggle. This one. When toggled, toggle. Now our ons, when turned on, turn on. Whoop. When turned on, turn on. When turned off, turn off. And finally, when turned off, turn off. Okay. And then from here, link, when turned off, turn off, link, when turned off, turn off. And then our final link, when turned, sorry. You know what? Sorry. What I'm going to do here, okay, for sanity's sake, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this, okay, okay, that'll just have to do. Okay, it's a little offset, but whatever. Just have to deal with it for now. Or, yeah. It's already running long, so sorry guys. Alright. Pick it up and pick it up. Okay. So I'm going to change this to link and turn it off. Turn on link, and when turned off, turn on. Okay. So that's these are now the inputs of the final AND gate for the user panel code. Okay. So then we then just go ahead and do the same thing. Do our toggles. And do our ons. Oh yeah, sorry. Did this whole thing just to save on that, and I completely like when turned off, turn on. I'm just being silly. Sorry, I've been doing these tutorials back to back for this. So, and then we carry the input from the numbers over to the board where it's the lever and the numbers. Okay, so this is our final AND gate. Okay. Wait a second. I need to make sure I don't have a double. Okay, it's the far one. All right. Just making sure. Alright, so then we're going to do our toggles. Let's toggle. And then our ons. And then our offs. Whoops. Okay. And then close, because close is our off. Okay. Now remember, you got to do 2 here. Oh, sorry, did I already do that one? Yeah. Alright. So then we link this to the trap door. Link. When turned off. We open, because open is our on. Link. And then when fully opened, we turn that on. Okay? Yeah, that happened because I clicked the lever before the light. That's why that happened. I miss a link here. Yes, it did. Okay. Did I get the one on this side? No. I got that one. Okay. It's always good to test it, once you're done with it. Okay? Just to make sure everything's working right. Okay? Now we gotta make an area for this door. Go ahead and go on the other side here. That way, when player exits, close the door. Alright, so now everything should work. So if I go ahead and put in our code of 1, 2, 3, 4, I should be able to enter it into the board, press on the lever, 2, 3, 4, and we can see lights turning on the other side. And then go ahead and pull the lever. Door should open. There we go. Door opens. And then we get through the door and we go on our business, and the door closes. Now, key to this is that to have this, okay, to have everything reset when the door opens. Okay, so that's just simple triggering. I'm not really going to cover it. This is already a long tutorial, and pretty much probably didn't need it if you could understand what I was talking about before in the other pieces. This is just a let's put it together and connect the dots, so that way everything you can understand everything fully. If there was any gaps, it's probably covered. So I thank you guys for your time. I hope I have covered anything that you wanted to know regarding this sort of a system. And good luck.